Third time. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus. My name is Towa Dirile. I'm so delighted to be here. And of course, I want to start by expressing my gratitude to every member of MITV Plus and Star FM Plus. Yesterday was just awesome. I saw love at its best. You know, I saw people celebrate me and celebrate with me. And honestly, I was overwhelmed, if you ask me. I don't know how to express it, but honestly, it actually set the tone for the day because the entire day went so well. You know, I haven't enjoyed my birthday like that in a very, very long time. So I am very, very grateful. And my prayer, you know, is that, you know, we will continue to celebrate here and that we will not lose anybody, you know, among this team or from this team. Let me quickly say that I can imagine, or I have a feeling that, you know, we were getting a lot, we would have gotten a lot of calls yesterday, but we realized that we had some, you know, problems from our end, you know, and I promise that today will be better. So for those of you who tried to call in, you know, for whatever reason to wish me a happy birthday, to contribute to the program, we apologize and we also appreciate all your effort. Yes, like I said, you're most welcome. Let's have breakfast together. And how can I thank, you know, my television boyfriend, my son, you know, my partner, my friend, and you know, whatever. Okwe is everything. He's such a fantastic person. Okwe, I'd like to say thank you so much, you know, for celebrating me and celebrating with me yesterday.
It's always a privilege, and like my school of thought, I've always maintained, I celebrate people while they are still alive. That's what I always tell people, that you will never see me post obituaries on my status except people that are really, really close to me and all of that. Because I feel like, you know, when you have the privilege of living every day with people, always celebrate them. I will always celebrate you every day, from compliments, from appreciation. But yesterday was just special. Like we said, there was not a regular 4th of August. It was a special 4th of August. And it's always a privilege to learn from you. At the past 5 to 6 months that we've been running this conversation together, every single day there's always something to take home. And once again, we celebrate you. Happy birthday, Adam. I pray that the next couple of years, more years in health and in strong mind. And one of my mentors was asking, Auntie Tony, she's still here. And I'm like, you want that to retire? How will young people like us learn from our wealth of experience? So it's always a pleasure to do this with you. And yeah, to every member of the production team, thank you for the cake, for the drinks, for the pictures, for the moment in the studio.
Yes.
It is always a pleasure doing. The last week Wednesday was mine.
Yes,
last
week
everything
Wednesday.
just flowed into each other like that.
Yes.
We have a guest today that will join us on the turn of 9:15. And we're going to be looking at the societal conformity expectations around the women and how much of a pressure that they move around with. There is a special program coming up later in the week, and she's going to be telling us more of those on the show today. But hey, we've got loads of newspaper stories to analyze for you today. So once again, it's a pleasure.
It is
Good to
a
have
pleasure.
you join us this morning.
All right, thank you so much. And you know, before I call for this break, I'd also like to thank my children. They were wonderful yesterday.
Okay, let me calm down.
They were
He
wonderful.
did bing bing.
Oh yeah, they did. They sure did.
He did bing bing.
And after the studio, in fact, they just blew my mind. You know, had lunch, very good lunch.
No, you deserve it.
And they took
You
me to the
deserve it.
cinemas to watch a film. And, you know, it was just a wonderful day. So thank you to my wonderful children. God bless and replenish you, you know, in multiple folds. You know, you understand what I'm saying. Thank you so much. All right, we'll take our regular break, and when we return, you know, we have so much in the papers waiting for us to analyze. Please don't go anywhere. Just stay tuned. It's still the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus. You're welcome back. We're going to be looking at the newspapers right now and, looking and tasting, what they are serving us for breakfast this morning. Okay, and I'll be starting with the Punch newspaper. The above the nameplate. Fake agency probe. Reps to grill controversial DG at undisclosed location. And the writers for that is how I paid 400 million naira for phantom contract. Businessman tells reps panel how summons FRSC Corp Marshal over official plates for phantom agency vehicle. Now, Okped, this thing is like an octopus that has so many, legs and whatever. It's just drawing people into it because, the more the investigation goes on, the more lot is opening up and a lot of people will be indicted, invited for investigation and all of that. But let's see as it unfolds. Just yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, we were reading that this man was crying to be heard. Well, I'm happy this is happening today.
I think that's the difference between an investigation and a probe.
And a probe.
A probe is more, it's wider. You
More
throw the
elaborate.
net out
Yes,
more.
yes.
You invite this one, invite that one, invite that one. You don't have to conclude based on, maybe findings we're able to, pull out of the people. And I've always said, we've always maintained that stand on this show that you see this investigation or this probe is going to touch a whole lot of people. That at the end of the day, beyond the names that the DG or the embattled DG mentioned, we'll start seeing people. And that's why I love what the ad hoc committee on the House of Representatives is doing. I was saying it that why would the Senate refuse not to carry out a probe like this? But I think the House of Reps is doing a thorough job. Because if you look at how many people they've invited, from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, from the police, from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, they just keep inviting these people over and over again. Now, they've invited the Corp Marshal to say, how did you authorize custom-made plate number
Exactly,
for
this vehicle?
Not just the vehicle, the entire vehicle in the convoy of the embattled DG. How did you authorize custom-made plate number? So I think at this point, we just have to relax. I don't even know if you are getting this much from the ad hoc committee. I wonder what ICPC will have on their desk at the moment, because ICPC is a more statutory agency, set up to fight independent corrupt practices. Do you understand?
Yes.
So because the powers of the ad hoc committee is limited.
It's limited, but that of
just doing oversight function
ICPC is
in
not.
an open sitting.
Yep.
So there are people that they may summon and they may not come. But if ICPC invites you and you don't come, especially on the order of the special of the order of Mr. President. So if the ad hoc committee is telling us this much, I don't know what ICPC will come up with. And don't forget that police is also doing their own investigation because the matter is in court. He's been charged. That's why he's still being detained. So let's just enjoy the moment. Let's keep our fingers crossed. It looks like more revelations will still come out. Because another person now is coming out that the same embattled DG scammed him of 400 million. The same 400 million that the embattled DG said he used to buy the employment. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed.
Let's just watch as it unfolds. Of course, it's going to unfold. Certainly, when we have cases like this, they unfold. Sometimes they take the banner headline of the newspapers. Other times, when there's not too much about it, it takes a little space.
Tiny little corner, but the story still continues.
Let's see at what point, we're going to end all of this. But I just hope that we will be concluding, when we are ending, unlike a lot of other things that have happened that were never concluded, and we never heard about them anymore, and it's just there. The answer is hanging in the wind. All right, doctors suspend strike as presidency brokers truce. I think this is now becoming a trend, a norm, and for me, I'm not quite comfortable or satisfied with this. It now starts to look like the doctors are losing their professionalism and respect, because they keep doing this thing.
Constant threat of
Yeah,
strike.
constant threat, and then
And then
at
you
the end
come
of
to
the
the
day,
table,
they
you
call it
suspend
off.
strike.
And then
after
after a
3 months
while,
after,
they
you
call
threaten
they
another
threaten
strike.
again.
Why don't you just go on the strike and get all they are demanding for the way
Exactly.
ASU is doing?
Is doing, it now looks to me like it's a kind of joke, and I don't ever want to see doctors, in that kind of light, because I know that this is a profession, that anyone, would respect and would take very seriously. So I think that the doctors need to really get their acts together and do what they need to do to get what they need to get once and for all.
And on the other side,
rather than make it look like a
I also
game.
think the government should, hold on to their side of the bargain. If you gave a commitment that, listen, I'm going to do this and this and this, I'm going to improve your hazard allowance, I'm going to, do these things for you, then the government should be responsible enough to do it. As much as we think that the doctors should hold on to an indefinite position till they get their demands, there are consequences for those indefinite decisions. Every single day that the doctors go on strike, lives are lost. Because the hospitals are shut down. Basic emergencies, nobody's going to attend to them. Even when the governors are working full throttle, there's still not enough.
Exactly.
There's still not enough bed. There's still not enough emergency respondents at the hospitals. So imagine when they now go on strike. So I think the government should also be responsible. These demands have been on as far as 2003, 2007, 2009.
Look, so that's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. That the doctors, they need to put their feet down, because you see, it depends on how the Yorubas would say "irinisi." Exactly. The way you dress is the way you will be addressed. And, dressing in this sense means that, the way they're presenting themselves to government, government believes that, it's now like a toy thing, you play with it, you rattle it a little, and then, they just go back into their closet, and after a while they come out. It's time for them to take a stand. Now, government, like you and I know, we shouldn't expect anything from them. Keeping their promises, like breaking their promises, is like a norm.
It's a norm. So
you
keeping
understand?
it feels unusual.
So it's unusual. So if we're asking for that, it's like we're asking for too much. So what would we rather be asking for? Would rather be asking for the doctors to put their feet down, so that the government knows that they're serious enough to get what they want, and then the government will meet them at the point of agreement. But if they keep gallivanting up and down, it doesn't look nice, and honestly, one will start to get fed up, and not take them seriously. Okay, federal government votes 2.5 trillion for Abuja, Lokoja, Enugu, Port Harcourt, 122 roads. So my question right now here to you, Okwe, is this. I remember not too long ago, the president talked about, was advising state governors, to stop building bridges and roads, and spending unnecessary money on all of this infrastructure, when people in the state are hungry. This was the advice of the president to the governors of, to all the governors. And then all of a sudden, what we see is something completely different. The same president, will, of course, the Minister of Works is under him. Of course, he knows right now that they are voting 2.5 trillion naira for Abuja, Lokoja, Enugu, Port Harcourt, 122 roads. That money is being put aside. So now, my question is this. Why is this being restricted to just the states? I mean, why is it that the federal, can go ahead with building bridges, building roads and all those things, and the states, are being I don't want to use, for want of a better word, maybe subdued, in my opinion.
think if you look at the sharing formula of FAC every month, the federal government takes the larger chunk of the
Obviously.
money, which is 58%.
Obviously.
52% rather. The state governments and local government always settle for 48%. Out of those 48%, 13% will still go to derivation for the oil producing states. So the federal government has money. So they can spend it. Because oftentimes, some of these overhead bridges that these governors are constructing, they're actually federal roads. So if the government is saying that, leave these overhead bridges, leave these dual carriageways that you are doing, let us do that from our side. Some of these roads are state roads, but they also still connect to federal roads. So when the federal government wants to do federal project, it will still in a way, they cannot remove the state roads from it. Do you understand? That's why federal government will do projects.
No, I don't understand.
Okay, so
no, I don't understand because I don't agree. I beg to disagree.
I understand. So we'll get to
We'll
that
get
point.
to that point.
So sometimes the federal government wants to do a road, and the stretch of that road also touches state roads.
Which I know clearly.
So
I hear you.
sometimes when the government completes the road, the major road, they will not come to us, okay, this portion that belongs to the state, this was the amount we spent fixing it for you. So there could be refunds. There are also times where states want to do roads that also touches federal roads. In fact, there are roads in the state that state will do, and then they will go back and collect the money from the federal government at the end of the day. We saw that happen so many times under Obasanjo administration, even under late Umaru Musa Yar'Adua administration. So, if the federal government is saying that the money we are giving you, don't hide under bridge and waste it. Use it to take care of your people. Use it to look and take care of the primary healthcare centers for your people. Use it to secure your people. Use it to make food available to your people. You see those big projects, leave it for us. Let us handle it. And so when the president said state governors should stop spending recklessly on bridges, because that's what most of the governors are doing now. Elephant project, needless project. Do you understand? Areas that you can just take dual carriageways and let the people continue with their life. Give them logical roundabout, let them move on. You now do overhead bridge because you know that overhead bridge looks like a giant project. You can steal money from those kind of big projects. So government is saying, you see those giant projects that you want to do, we will capture some of them for you. Focus on more things. Stop building airports that your states don't need. Some states that their IGR is not up to is not up to 10 billion in a month. They are building airports. And neighboring states around you have airports that are functional. What are you building airport for? What are you building airport for? Do you understand? Ekiti State is building, they just completed their own airport. They spent how many billions to complete that airport? But there's an airport in Akure. If they do the Akure-Ado road, it's less than 25 minutes. You're already in Ekiti from Ondo State. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah, so I get you clearly. I understand where you're coming from, and I hear the federal government when they speak and say these things, which ideally should make a whole lot of sense. But the truth is, what I see, in some instances, is that even the federal projects, sometimes are left uncompleted. They're, sometimes they're not finished. So I don't imagine that the federal, with the federal Ministry of Works would be wanting to take on a state responsibility when in actual truth, they may not even complete their own projects. We have a lot of abandoned projects by the Federal Ministry of Works. Exactly, and you're dipping into somebody else's responsibility, and wanting to take that on. The truth is, we say it as it is, there's really there shouldn't be anything to fear. This is what I see all of the time, that it's always reoccurring. And so I don't really see that happening. I think the states should be left alone. We always say, oh, we have the state government, we have the local government, we have the federal government. Yes, I think everybody should do their thing and leave. Because when it comes to certain issues, you see, you can't have selective amnesia in this case. You understand? You want to remember the things you need to remember because those are the things that are important to you. Leave the state government to do what they need to do. You do what you need to do and do it perfectly. Set the tone, set the pace. Let them look and say, look at what the federal government has done. The state too needs to, up their game to that level if you understand what I'm saying. So asking them, look, Victoria Island, Ozubam, by the way, have you been there recently? It is an
It's a
eyesore.
mess. A mess.
It's an eyesore. It would spoil cars that ply that road, every single day. There's absolutely no way you can do it. It's so unfortunate, and I want to. I don't know if that's a federal road or state road, but whatever it is, at the end of the day, if the federal is not going to do it, of course we'll be looking to the state to do it. So, I mean, the federal should face what they're doing and leave the states to do what they need to do, in my opinion. Okay, I think we would soon be rounding up. I think we can just look at just quickly rush through this. DHQ, that's the defense headquarters, reopens surrender window for Southeast gunmen. Would you have wanted to discuss that? Because we have a guest that.
Yeah, we have a guest on standby, so maybe we just flash through the headlines on the Punch.
Okay, but
then
if
maybe
we
when
need to,
get
if we
back,
need to come back,
the
we can
stories still reflect on
other
Yes.
newspapers. Okay, police summons very dark man, quiz AIG over allegations. 2027, ADC fires back as Wike dismisses Amechi's Rivers influence. Oh, I wish we could talk about that, but
I also wish.
I wish we could talk about that. Okay, robbers shoot LASU graduate during attack on POS operator. Oh my,
That's an unfortunate one.
That's unfortunate. And finally, from the Guardian news, from the Punch newspaper, federal government unveils Al-Majiri reform and bans street begging. I really hope, because the Lekki axis, oh my gee.
You can't stop at traffic lights. You can't park to pick up something. You can't come out of the mall.
We
you
have
can't
a
get
caller.
into the mall.
We have a caller, but I'm
Oh.
not going to be able to take that call.
It's
Apologize,
an
we can't take
eyesore.
calls now because we're going to take a break right now. And when we return, we're going to be having a guest on the show. After that, then we can throw the lines open and take all the calls that we need to take. All right, so please stay tuned. We're going on a break right now, but we'll be right back. God will help.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to do this with you every Monday to Friday. So we have to go on that very short break. And I'm sure that by the time we're done with this, this segment of the program, we'll come back and pick your calls and also complete the newspaper review segment. But we have guests that will help us to understand some of the most complicated conversation when it comes to the existence of women in the society, and more importantly, how they're taking responsibilities way beyond expectations. Yes, you have to admit with me that their expectations, their limits, their barriers, their ceilings, that somehow the society expects women not to go beyond. But a lot of that has changed in the last few years, especially within the Nigerian space here. If you look at some of the 5 major blocks that we have in the Nigerian judicial system, the body of benchers, the Supreme Court, the law school, the appeal courts, and of course the Nigerian Bar Association, 4 of those blocks are currently being headed by women. If you look into the financial sector, the banks, top of the CEOs that we have in those spaces are also dominated by women. In fact, at some point, the president of body of bencher was actually Justice Mrs. Mary Odili. So we've had that strong conversation. if you also look at the political space we have more women senators in the National Assembly, House of Representatives, Commissioners, House of Assembly. So when they say behind every successful man, it's a woman, I think the conversation is changing. Now it is beside every successful man, there's a woman that is pushing him to get better. So I'm staying here as the man, not the head, but of course to coordinate this segment of the conversation. So I was still on LITV Plus Breakfast Express, but we are switching a little bit from our regular to do something exceptional this morning. So let me introduce my guest first. Then you understand why we're here. And there's a program coming up in Lagos later in the month. They would also tell us more about that. Today on the show, we're going to be discussing the pressure women carry. And believe me, they carry a whole lot of those pressures. So I have two guests. First off, I have Ezinne Ekane Nkufre joining me on the show this morning. It's good to see you again. It's been a while. The last time I saw you was on radio. It's a pleasure to have you join us on TV today.
Absolutely, thank you. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. I hope everybody's doing good.
Well, she's not alone. They say two good heads are better than one. So, and they came combined with us today. I also have on set this morning Dr. Ukira Awachi. She's an exclusive coach. It's a pleasure to have you join us as well.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Ukira Awachi. Thank you for having me here.
So let's do this. Ezinne Ekane, she's a philanthropist, a coach, an entrepreneur, a media, everything you can imagine. So when I saw the profile, like, you people did not complete this profile. I know this woman and I understand what she comes with. So it's a pleasure to have both of you on set with us this morning.
Thank you very
so
much.
Let me start with you. A lot has changed in the last few years. Mm-hmm. If you look at how much women have continued to, dominate spaces that used to be the men's world, every corner. I talked about the 5 major legislative judicial blocks that we have in this country. The head of the Court of Appeal is a woman. The Supreme Court is a woman. The Nigerian Law School is a woman. The NBA just elected as second, president ever in over 60 years of that association. Where is the place of the woman at the moment in this society that we are?
Thank you very much, first of all, for that question. It's such a privilege to be here, and I'm glad. My name is Ezinne Nkufre. I don't want to go home and answer questions, so let me correct that one first. Thank you for your question. You're asking for the place of the woman, exactly where it's supposed to be, in the office of the woman. Patriarchy and society had shaped some kind of narratives that made it look like a woman's place was supposed to be in the kitchen and in the other room, but we have seen that that's not exactly the case, because even if we take it back and throw it back to the beginning, of creation, a woman was created to be a helpmate. And a helpmate means it's something like your spine. See? And the woman is imbued with a whole lot of potentials to be able to lead, to create. I mean, come on. The woman is the only person that God saw and said, okay, I'll make you a co-creator. Yeah? So how do you now take your co-creator to go and be creating soup in the kitchen only?
Or just be sleeping in the other room?
Do you understand? So the woman is finally growing enough to come take her place. We are very excited about what's going on, and we are going beyond tokenism, and we are going to come all out and take our rightful place to get our nation, the polity, everything moving forward.
I mean, that's impressive, and I always like it when it comes really soft and then we build the energy from there. Dr. Ukira, let's get on to this one. What is success to an average woman in this generation, and how has the definition of a successful woman changed over the last generations that we've had?
Thank you very much for this question. Success is personal, if I can say that. And to a woman who is aligning to her purpose of existence, success is being able to achieve what God have created you to be, or what God have designed you to be as a woman. Because as a woman, you're a whole lot, a whole package of existence. Starting from your home, coming out to the society, despite the pressure of the society, we keep evolving. We keep setting out the pace. That is what it means to be successful. Getting it right from start from your home, starting from your home, from the comfort of your home, coming out to the communities and getting it to the society till you achieve what you want to be. In a short statement, success for a woman means alignment with purpose.
All right. And let me also take it from where you start. You made mention of something very key, which is pressure.
Okay.
And you cannot deny the fact that those pressures sometimes look like limitations, sometimes look like the barrier, the ceiling that the woman cannot break. And let me come to you. Where does those pressures, where do they come from? From the family, the culture, the social media, or the workplace?
Pressure comes from everywhere that you've mentioned, but first, what is pressure? Pressure is invisible. It's not something that you can see, but it's something that is there. And it's such a huge factor because you feel it. It suppresses you. If you're not careful, it makes you stay down. And there are all kinds of pressure. There's pressure that comes from within you because of the expectations you've set out for yourself. There's pressure that comes from without you, as being outside of you. So there's societal pressure. There is pressure from being a woman, having a family, to raise a family, managing your career, juggling it. There's financial pressure. There's emotional pressure. There is the biological clock pressure. Oh, you're getting old, you're not getting married. Oh, you're married, you don't have children. Oh, there is pressure of what religion, you're a Christian, of this sect, you're a Muslim, of all kinds of pressure, and it's getting even worse. Like they say now, Wesa. It's getting worse because the economy is not even helping the woman to be able to do stuff. You see, your husband will even go to work, or even you go and work and you earn money, and then you go to the market and your money cannot buy anything. So you already have pressure. Your money is not traveling as much as you want it to travel. How do you now prepare balanced meal for your children? That is enough pressure. How do you now look perfect in the social media world that they expect you to be perfect? You must look and appear in a certain way. How do you keep up? And then you're looking at everyone, and everyone seems to be, the way it is, the grass is always greener on the other side. Everyone seems to have it together, and then you're the only one that is falling apart under pressure. Pressure is a huge deal. And Nigerian women are very strong because they are under intense pressure. And inside this intense pressure, they're creatively trying to hold everything together.
Amazing. I think it's a different perspective coming from the world that I'm coming from. But I always talk about my family. I tell people that I grew up in a girls' hostel. I have 5 beautiful sisters.
Oh, wow.
So as a young man growing up, I understood how to help with the pressure sometimes. Sometimes I also build and mount the pressure that I often take it away. But I'm talking about pressure, Dr. Kira. You talked about alignment, being purpose. So how do you achieve that level of what you are created to become and what the society expects you to become? How do you have that alignment?
Okay, when it comes to pressure, like she said, pressure, to me, pressure is inevitable. It is some set of life we can't avoid. But how you manage it determines how far you will go with it. But if it's going to come, it will come. But for you to go through it, you need some certain mentality. So if you ask me, I would say that pressure is a mindset. It's a mindset. Is how you take it, is how it will walk you through. So for me, personally, to walk through stress is to first of all believe that stress is not stress to me. It's a working process. It's part of my existence.
So you have to
If I feel tired or I feel pressured of some certain tasks, I should be able to know that I need to have a break and continue at some point. So pressure, if you want to manage pressure better, you should learn how to say no to some certain things. That's where alignment comes in. You must not go through it when you know you can't or you don't have the energy. Learn how to retreat and go back so that you'll be able to re-energize yourself and continue what you're planning to do or what you're set out to do. So for you to curb pressures in your life, understand pressure, understand your body system, understand your capacities, understand the things you need to do and the things you don't need to do so that you will be able to work in peace with your body system. Thank you.
All right, let me come to you, Zini.
Yes, please.
The world has expectations, and you were talking about it the other time, where pressures come from the home, internally, the biological clock. Oh, you're getting to a certain age, you don't have a child. There's the thought of, oh, menopause is coming. There's just a whole lot of space there. And if you look at the woman composition, you expect to juggle all of these things together. The whole idea of having it all, is it real, or you think it's just a trap?
Okay. Thank you for that very question, because that's something that is deeply passionate about. And let me say upfront before I break it down, a woman can actually have it all, but it will be in phases. Yes, you can't do all things at the same time, because someone looking at me now, being able to be on the show and talking to you on the show, will say, "Oh, I'd like to be like her." But you see, the reason why I'm here is because, one, I am an empty nester. I don't have any child I'm responsible for. So I can actually come here at 7 o'clock to do a show. But you can't tell a woman who's just gotten married, who has a 3-month-old baby, to come here. So you need to understand that first things will always have to be first, and then you phase it, and plan your life successively so that you can have all things. At the end of the day, what we're talking about, alignment and all of that, it's being able to know, oh, this is the time for this. This is the time for this. And by the time you get to the end of your time and they curate the life you've lived, it will culminate in one wholesome, full life. Okay? I like she was saying, diamonds are made from pressure. If women don't take pressure, then they won't become the best of themselves. Exactly. However, it is important that you know the kind of pressure that you're taking and set boundaries, and don't accept the things that you don't have the capabilities for at the time that they come at you, if they come at you. Thank you.
Okay, I mean, that's very important. And both of you have aligned with the fact that those pressures would come.
Definitely.
But you have to know the ones you align with and the ones you drop. So what are the early warning signs of that burnout, and how much of that can you take? Let me have your take on that real quick.
Sincerely, we cannot do everything all by ourselves. But because of the so-called pressure the society have put in us, every woman wants to look the best. You want to look your best even when it's not convenient for you. You should be able to, like I said earlier on, there's what I call self-appraisal. You talk to yourself. You know your body system. You know when you're weak. You know when you can't go further anymore. You know when you need to delegate duties to people around you. And women should understand and know about working collectively with everyone in the family. Especially your spouse, your children, engage everyone at home. It is when you want to show, I'm a good woman, I'm very strong, I'm virtuous, I can do this. You end up breaking down, doing things you're not supposed to do. At the end of the day, you turn it around and blame it on your spouse or your children. So let's set boundaries. Let's engage everyone around us. Because I always tell people, you don't know it all. Even being a mother in the house or at your home, there are some certain things we do that if we open up to the family, one of our child or our spouse can say, let's do it this way. And you get it done.
And it could be even a less stressful
Exactly. So as a woman, collective responsibility should be one key factor of you governing your house or your home.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
I'm still going to stay with you.
Okay.
There's this collective measure of success that the society puts on a woman. They expect that if you have a career title, for instance, professor, doctor, oh, you are successful. Oh, you are married, you have children, you are going through motherhood, you are successful. Oh, you are within this, you are within that. I'm trying to understand, what more do women need to do to know that success goes beyond your career title, your success in marriage, or the status that the society puts on you, what do you need to do as an ordinary woman to be seen as being successful?
First and foremost, you need to be healthy. You need to be beautiful like I am. This year is my golden jubilee.
Wow.
But nobody knows about it. You need to be happy. You need to create an environment of being free with yourself. You need to learn how to, there's an English word I want to use, how to praise yourself as a woman. You need to adore yourself. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, UK, doctor, I'm Dr. Eukarya. I chose to be a doctor. Forget about the title. I went further to school to teach my children the importance of academics. You can get to anywhere you want to get to as a human being. Whether you're financially stable or not, it's just for you to decide, I want to get to this stage in life. And you decide it as a woman and said, I will be here. I'm running my home. I'm running my home. It doesn't stop me. It doesn't stop my career. It doesn't stop my academics. It doesn't stop my business.
Sure.
I'm a sales personnel. So my home, I make sure I put things in order before engaging in other activities. That you're a career woman is not a barrier for you not to keep your home or to start doing a blame game where the man is. Men have their duties. I don't feel comfortable. Other women feel comfortable when their husbands enter the kitchen and cook. It's not a crime. Some men love cooking, but I love serving the man. I love being that woman. It's a hobby for me. So I design myself in such a way that I have a timetable in my home. Before I planned to be here this morning, yesterday night I've set up the house. This is what is going to happen. You're going to this place. I've transferred money to you. Go do your thing. From this time, I will not be available. You understand? So I am encouraging my fellow women. We can really do this, like she said. Women can achieve all without breaking down. All we need is to make use of people around us. Engage. We should learn how to engage people. Because there are some capacities we don't have that we see in our children or in our spouses. But sometimes, you know, women, we brood a lot. We want to do it all by ourselves to show I am the one doing this, I am the one doing that. So, my fellow women, I'm encouraging us.
I like you
Let
said that.
us get it done by ourselves.
Okay, so
Can I quickly chip in something
please.
here?
Yes,
You know,
please.
I'm talking about how to recognize that you are feeling burnt out, that you're carrying too much. First of all, we all know it. When you start snapping at everybody,
Exactly.
when you get angry with yourself, when your spouse no longer looks good or anything he does, it's meaningful to you. You know, when it looks like you're carrying the world on your shoulder,
That's
you
it.
know, when even after when you go out and do stuff, you come back and say, just what the heck did I do? When it looks like nothing is adding up, then you should actually take a back step and check and say, am I doing too much in this season? Am I carrying too much in this season? And that's when to call yourself to order.
I'm also going to stick with you.
Yes, please.
Dr. Grant talked about self-evaluation and validation. Looking into the mirror and tell yourself that I'm good enough. I don't have limitations as a woman. I can be everything I want to be. That means if you strip out external validations on a personal note, what does success means to you?
So, success actually is you living true to who you know yourself to be. But you see, the thing about this, my definition, is that you must know who you are.
First.
Yes. And that is something that most women do not know. Most women are living by whom people define them to be. So, and that's why when you say to most, who are you? They'll say, Amazing Neku Frekanem. No, we have to go beyond your name. Who are you? You see, there's something that marriage does to us as women. It makes us shed our initial identity. And then we assume the identity of the partnership and we're going. And that's where we get it all wrong, because we should remain true to who we are. The dreams we had, You see, because that's what happens. Because when you now shed that thing, whether by coercion or by being in love or however, when you shed it and assume these two are together thingy and you're going, your soul will be crying because you've left your authentic self behind. So we all need to go back and identify who we are. Because that's the only time we can define success. For me, success is not the amount of money you have. For me, success is not the things that you own. Success is the things that you have become. It's the way you've grown. It's how you command, authority and impact. It's how you're fulfilling purpose. It is just the fact that you are at peace with yourself. I mean, this studio can catch fire, and I'm sitting down here peacefully because of who I have grown to be. So success is a very individual thing. It's not something, the way I define it is not the way she will define it. And it's not the way any other woman will define it. So you need to find that and stick to it, and do not let yourself be sucked in by the fact that other people seem to be doing other things. Because honestly, there's so many women who are well-dressed, who have high-profile jobs, who are actually not successful.
Okay, and let me come to Dr. Ikeria. There are a lot of young girls, young women out there that are looking and watching this program and they are thinking, oh, it's an opportunity for me that I'm learning these things. And I can tell you for a fact that a lot of the things that both of you know today, you didn't know them at a much younger age.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And there are people out there that are learning these things at a much younger age right now. What would you tell the young woman out there that feels she has to do twice as much to prove herself that she's worthy of any responsibility? What would you tell that girl child, that young woman out there that is striving to be the best that she thinks she be?
Just be yourself. You can't do it all. Because the society will make you feel that you're doing too much. In fact, there's a lot of things we do, even when we are doing it in a very mild way, it becomes a problem. We are loud, it becomes a problem.
You're too quiet.
You're too quiet is a problem. Sometimes, like I have one of my sister in the House of Assembly, Ebonyi State. In the person, I won't mention her name. I don't want to mention her name. When she was in the House of Assembly, she was just herself. She wakes up in the morning. She's a mother. She wears ordinary slippers to the legislative meetings. At some point, the governor got upset. She goes to a function with them. She picks up a camera and she's snapping the whole dignitaries in that occasion. It was her passion, what she loved most. She's a media personality. She did not mind her status. All she wanted to do is what she knows how to do best. But the people she was doing it for found fault in what she was doing and queried her. Before you know, they asked her to resign. So what I'm trying to say is that there is nothing you would do to please the society. There is nothing you will do to please the society. And if you can't please yourself, you won't even be able to please the society. Meaning that you can't give what you don't have.
You can't pour from
So
empty cup.
it is better and more ideal you learn how to take care of yourself first. Manage the excesses around you. Get yourself in check so that you'll be able to face the world as it is. So invariably, a young woman that wants to succeed, you need to get yourself together. Get the basics together. Be humble in getting those things. First and foremost, remember, you're a woman. Being a woman is not weakness. Being a woman is golden. So it is very, very important as a young woman, you learn the basics of training yourself, engage yourself with people you feel that knows more than you do.
Okay. It's a big deal right now because you've said a whole lot. And I'm sure there's a young girl out there that is feeling fulfilled, having the opportunity to listen to both of you now. But there's a bigger, platform that the young girl can do that, because you have a program coming up, sometimes later this month. I don't know, maybe you want to talk about it. It is themed Aligned Position for Purpose and Impact. Let me come with you. I'm sure you probably want to say one or two things regarding that last question. So you can put all of that together. But first, tell us about the program. I was seeing your reaction and I agree with what you say, but of course, getting double is not bad.
Okay.
So you want to say that real quick, talk to the young girl out there, and secondly, tell us about the program coming up later this month.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'll be real fast. To the young lady out there watching us, obviously, we didn't get here overnight. I mean, it's been 5 decades coming to this point and learning every single step of it. And we don't even know it all yet. So just keep learning. One thing I'm going to say to you, which is the tagline of my show, my radio show, finding self, finding purpose. Before you begin to look for purpose, make sure you find yourself.
That's it.
So invest in finding yourself.
Exactly.
Explore. Don't do yourself that disservice. Put yourself in front of a mirror. X-ray yourself. The one thing you can not do to yourself is lie to yourself. Ensure you X-ray yourself so that you know yourself. If you do know yourself, then you'll be able to face whatever life throws at you. Because like she said, pressure will always come. Thank you. And having said that, I'm going to dive in straight into the conference. We do have this conference that is coming up on the 28th and 29th of August, themed Aligned, Position for Purpose and Impact. And it's happening at Echo Hotel and Suites for 2 beautiful days. And we want every woman who knows that she's been living life under pressure, who knows that she's misaligned with what she's doing, who knows that it's difficult for her to wake up every day and go to work, who knows that she doesn't even know what it is she's doing with her life, who knows that, okay, you know what, when all is said and done, if I die today, do I think I have done exactly what God wanted me to do? If you know that there are some times that you come back and ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? Then please be at this conference. We have 12 fantastic speakers that will be speaking to us from 12 pillars of alignment, because we were not supposed to come and survive this life. No, we're supposed to come to this life and live in alignment with our manufacturer's manual for us. And that's the only way we can fulfill purpose. I love your fan, by the way. It's a beautiful fan. That fan is supposed to be blowing and be giving us air. Now, if we turn this fan to become, if we put a pot of rice on this fan, it's probably not going to cook. So if we as women, we have a manual that our manufacturer has made, and we have, because of the pressures of life, jettisoned that manual. That's why we have a lot of misalignment. That's why we have the blowouts. That's why every market day on Facebook, there's somebody saying, and he did me, and he did not do me, and it's because there is misalignment. So it's time for us to come to this August meeting and speak clearly to ourselves and candidly to ourselves.